morning, friends. This is Miss Columbus. I'm here to read you all a story. The story that I have here is called Chrysanthemum by Kevin Henkes. But I have an activity that goes along with my story. So, if you have a piece of paper, a pencil, crayon, marker, anything, why don't you try to go get a piece of paper and we're going to color a heart. Inside my heart, I cut it out and I put some few things that I love, like the sunshine, reading books, flowers, and the ocean. But you can also just gut on a piece of paper and draw a heart. For my activity, in the story Chrysanthemum right here, she's the little mouse. She goes to school and some friends don't use kind words with her. So every time someone doesn't use a kind word with Chrysanthemum, we're going to wrinkle our heart a little bit. But every time someone says a kind word to her, we are going to flatten out our heart. All right, and at the end, we'll look and see how our heart looks. All right, so you can pause the video now and go make your heart and come on back. Welcome back, friends. Again, this is Chrysanthemum. The day she was born was the happiest day in her parents' lives. She's perfect, said her mother. Absolutely, said her father. She was absolutely perfect. So they gave her a nice compliment so we can keep our heart nice and flat. Her name must be everything she is, said her mother. Her name must be absolutely perfect, said her father. And it was. Chrysanthemum, her parents named her Chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum grew and grew and grew. And when she was old enough to appreciate it, Chrysanthemum loved her name. Let me show you pictures. Ooh. She loved the way it sounded when her mother woke her up. She loved the way it sounded when her father called her for dinner. And she loved the way it sounded when she whispered it to herself in the bathroom mirror. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum loved the way her name looked when it was written on an envelope. She loved the way it looked when it was written with icing on her birthday cake. She loved the way it looked when she wrote it herself with her fat orange crayon. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum thought her name was absolutely perfect. And then she started school. On the first day, Chrysanthemum wore her sunniest dress and her brightest smile. She ran all the way. Hooray, said Chrysanthemum. School! Oh, look at this picture. We can tell she's happy because she has a big smile. But when Miss Chud took roll call, everyone giggled upon hearing Chrysanthemum's name. People were laughing at her. I don't think that's very nice. So why don't we put a wrinkle into our part? Just like this. It's so long, said Joe. It scarcely fits on her name tag, said Rita, and pointing. I'm named after my grandmother, said Victoria, and you're named after a flower. These aren't kind words. They're making fun of her. Why don't we wrinkle our heart again? Chrysanthemum wilted. That means like she's really sad. She's like pulling away. She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely dreadful. The rest of the day was not much better. During nap time, Victoria raised her hand and informed Miss Chud that Chrysanthemum's name was spelled with 13 letters. That's exactly half as many letters as there are in the entire alphabet, said Victoria. Thank you for sharing that with us, said Victoria, said Miss Chud. Now put your head down. If I had a name like yours, I'd change it, said Victoria, as the students lined up to go home. I wish I could, thought Chrysanthemum miserably. All right, they're not using kind words. They're telling her to change her name. Does she have control over that? No. Welcome home, said her mother. Welcome home, said her father. School is no place for me, said Chrysanthemum. My name is too long, it scarcely fits on a name tag, and I'm named after a flower. Oh, psh, said her mother. Your name is beautiful. And precious, and priceless, and fascinating, and winsome, said her father. It's everything you are, said her mother. It's absolutely perfect. So since her parents said kind words, we're going to flatten out our heart. So I'm just going to push mine down like this. So now it's flat. Chrysanthemum felt much better after her favorite dinner, macaroni and cheese with ketchup, and an evening filled with hugs, kisses, and parcheesi. That's a board game. I haven't heard of that. If you have, you can teach me sometime. That night, Chrysanthemum dreamed that her name was Jane. It was an extremely pleasant dream. The next morning, Chrysanthemum wore her most comfortable jumper. She walked to school as slowly as she could. She dragged her feet in the dirt. Chrysanthemum, 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 she wrote. I wonder if she's walking really slow because she doesn't want to go to school because people aren't using kind words with her. She even looks like a flower, said Victoria as Chrysanthemum entered the playground. Let's pick her, said Rita, pointing. Let's smell her. Oh, they're not being kind. Again, we're going to wrinkle our heart. Chrysanthemum wilted. She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely dreadful. The rest of the day was not much better. During nap time, Victoria raised her hand and said, a chrysanthemum is a flower. It lives in the ground with dirt and other dirty things. Thank you for sharing that with us, Victoria, said Miss Judd. Now put your head down. So that wasn't very kind. We can wrinkle this again. Motion to a ball. I just can't believe your name, said Victoria, as the students lined up to go home. Neither can I, thought Chrysanthemum. Another unkind word. Welcome home, said her mother. Welcome home, said her father. School is no place for me, said Chrysanthemum. They say I even look like a flower. They pretended to pick me and smell me. She seems so sad. See her in this picture? Oh, psh, said her mother. They're just jealous. And envious and begrudging and discontented and jaundiced, said her father. That means that they're jealous and envious. Who wouldn't be jealous of a name like yours, said her mother. After all, it's absolutely perfect. Oh, her mother gave her a nice compliment, so we can go back and undo our heart. Let's see. Try to flatten it out a little bit. Chrysanthemum felt a trifle better after having her favorite dessert, chocolate cake with buttercream frosting, and another evening filled with hugs and kisses and parcheesi. That night, Chrysanthemum dreamed that she was really a chrysanthemum. She sprouted leaves and petals. Victoria plucked her leaves and petals one by one until there was nothing left but a scrawny stem. It was the worst nightmare of Chrysanthemum's life. Chrysanthemum wore her outfit with 7 pockets the next morning. She loaded the pockets with her most prized possessions and her good luck charms. Chrysanthemum took the longest route possible to school. She stopped to stare at each and every flower. Chrysanthemum, 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 the flowers seemed to say. That morning, the students were introduced to Miss Twinkle, the music teacher. Her voice was something out of a dream, and as was everything else about her. The students were speechless. They thought Miss Twinkle was an indescribable wonder. They went out of the way to make a good impression. Miss Twinkle led the students in scales, and then she assigned roles for the class musical. Victoria was chosen as the dainty fairy queen, Rita was chosen as the spiffy butterfly princess, and Jo was chosen as the all-important pixie messenger, and Chrysanthemum was chosen as a daisy. Ooh. Chrysanthemum's a daisy, Chrysanthemum's a daisy, Jo, Rita, and Victoria chanted, thinking it was wildly funny. Ah, they're chanting and make funning her that she is a daisy. We can crumple our heart again. Chrysanthemum wilted. She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely dreadful. So since people are saying unkind words to her, she's having thoughts in her head thinking, oh, my name is dreadful. When people weren't saying unkind words to her, she thought her name was awesome. So what's so humorous, asked Miss Twinkle. Chrysanthemum was the answer. Her name is so long, said Jo. It scarcely fits on her name tag, said Rita, pointing. I'm named after my grandmother, said Victoria. And she's named after a flower. Not kind words. Again, it's simple. My name is long, said Miss Twinkle. It is, said Joe. My name would scarcely fit on a name tag, said Miss Twinkle. It would, said Rita, pointing. And, said Miss Twinkle, I'm named after a flower, too. You are, said Victoria. Yes, said Miss Twinkle. My name is Delphinium Twinkle. And if my baby is a girl, I'm considering Chrysanthemum as a name. It's absolutely perfect. Chrysanthemum could scarcely believe her ears. She blushed, she beamed, she bloomed. Chrysanthemum, Chrysanthemum, Chrysanthemum. Ooh. Joe, Rita, and Victoria looked at Chrysanthemum longing. Call me Marigold, said Joe. I'm Carnation, said Rita, pointing. My name is Lily of the Valley, said Victoria. So now they're all taking flower names as their names. Chrysanthemum did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She knew it. Oh my goodness, look at the smile on her face. She's thinking happy thoughts about her name. So I guess we could flatten out our heart a little bit, let's say. All right. Overall, the class musical was a huge success. Chrysanthemum was absolutely perfect as Daisy. Victoria made the only mistake. She completely forgot her lines as the dainty fairy queen. Chrysanthemum thought it was wildly funny and she giggled throughout the entire dance of the flowers. Eventually, Miss Twinkle gave birth to a healthy baby girl, and of course, she named her Chrysanthemum. All right, friends. So let's take a look at our heart. My heart is really wrinkled. Even though a lot of people gave her compliments on her name and said kind words to her, like her mom and herself and her teacher, our heart is still really wrinkled. This shows us that even though we can say kind words to people, when we say unkind words to people, it leaves wrinkles on their hearts. And we can't get those wrinkles away even when we say really kind words. So, I challenge you all to go and say a nice compliment or say something kind to someone that you're living with. That might be, maybe the person that made you dinner. You could say, oh, I really like this dinner. You did a great job. Or maybe you have a sibling at home that you can say kind words to. So, I challenge you to go home and say kind words. Thank you for listening, friends. See you later.